Declan's burner kicks off this Bears mailbag. Is that Declan Doyle's burner? Could Jonathan Taylor be a trade deadline target if the Colts are having a bad year? I think this is an interesting one because, people ask me about Jonathan Taylor sometimes, and I'm like, guys, they have a coach who's kind of on the hot seat. GM could be as well, especially with Jim Irsay passing. If they have a bad year, whoever's taking the reins of that ownership, they might just want to hit the reset button and go in a brand new direction. Well, trading Jonathan Taylor before the season doesn't help you win this year. But is there a world where the Colts are like 2-6 at the deadline? This QB situation, Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, is just a disaster. And they say, you know what? Let's see what we can get for Jonathan Taylor. Can we get some premium picks, or at least a premium pick? Obviously, there's been a lot of running back discussion when it comes to the Bears because, DeAndre Swift is a fine starter, but he's not, a top 10 guy. And then behind him, you have some intriguing guys, but some question marks as well. I do view Taylor as a potential midseason trade target. You think of a guy like Christian McCaffrey a few years ago who had been banged up with Carolina, then he got healthy and was playing well again, but the Panthers weren't any good, and the Panthers shipped him out to San Francisco. Could that be a trade that a team emulates for Jonathan Taylor? We'll take a look at that part of it in a second. But, if the Bears are 4-3, 5-3, having a good year, but that running game is inconsistent, and a guy like Taylor frees up, could you take a big swing? I mean, this is still one of the premium backs in the NFL. I put him just right below, like, the premium guys. To me, the only backs for sure ahead of Jonathan Taylor are as follows. Saquon Barkley, fully healthy Christian McCaffrey because of his pass-catching ability, and I would still give Derrick Henry the nod. He's right there after that. Him, James Cook, who we've talked about on this show. Josh Jacobs is in that ballpark. I think they're all in that tier. There's 3, 4. I throw Bijan Robinson in there too, and a few. Maybe Ashton Genty gets in there. So he's somewhere between RB4 and RB7. He's a terrific player. He's not super dynamic as a pass catcher, but you wouldn't really need him to be. DeAndre Swift can be that guy if you were to bring in a guy like Jonathan Taylor. Now, you revisit the Christian McCaffrey trade because you wonder what it would cost. This is a lot. I mean, 2 day 2 picks and a 4th and a 5th. 4 picks total for one. That's a lot of volume for any player, much less a running back. And 2 of those 4 picks being day 2 selections. I would not be doing that. I don't think Taylor's peak value is as good as Pete McCaffrey. I don't think it's a coincidence the 49ers kind of took off after they got McCaffrey. And B, even looking back at it, as good as McCaffrey's been, they got 2 healthy years out of it, and he was hurt all of last year. So, had they won that Super Bowl, they wouldn't be regretting it. And I'm not saying they are, but it's a lot of picks to give up. It's kind of like Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he's been awesome in Miami, but at what cost? 5 draft picks? That's the volume of picks is a lot. I would do more like if he's having a great year, could it be like a 2 and a 5? I mean, even that, that's a healthy offer for a running back at his 5th, 6th year. So, the cost would matter, but I do think he's a name to monitor at the trade deadline. If the Colts are having a bad year, they could look to ship him out. What would you trade for Jonathan Taylor? Give me your offer down in the comments section of this video. I'm definitely not offering a first, and I'm not offering 4 picks. I think I'd go 2 draft picks, one of them a 2nd or a 3rd, and then a day 3 pick. That would probably be my best offer. Okay, Pepto, what team has a brighter future, the Bears or the Packers? It's a good question. Both have a lot of young pieces. I think it really is simple. It comes down to which quarterback do you think is going to be better long term, because I think there's enough things to like about both teams, both rosters, both coaching staffs. Now, obviously, you'd have to give LaFleur the edge because he's been a head coach for a few years. This has been Johnson's first. But if Johnson at least becomes, one of the better coaches in the league as an offensive guy, Dennis Allen running the defense, you're always going to feel at least pretty good about that side. I think I would still take the swing on Caleb over Jordan long term. That's just my opinion. Could that be wrong? Absolutely. I think the jury's still out on both these guys, but yeah, I think I would lean Bears. Try not to be too biased Homer Bears guy, but history would tell us Packers. But if Ben Johnson's the truth and Caleb Williams is good, there's really no reason for this team to not be good for a while. Mike Nintendo Master, who is your dark horse to make the roster? We talked about some undrafted free agents. Major Burns at safety, I think, is a guy to watch. One of those UDFA defensive ends like Xavier Carlton or Jeremy Robinson, they're just thin at that position, so one of those guys could make a push. Could one of the UDFA safeties like Tysheem Johnson, I mentioned Major Burns already. A couple receivers that are interesting. Jade Walker, J.P. Richardson. Richardson has punt return ability. Could he beat out like a Devin Duvernay for that final spot? That could be on the table as well. Ian Wheeler, could he have a strong training camp in preseason? He was on that track last year at running back before he popped his ACL. So I think there's, 4 to 6 guys right there that I would keep an eye on. Subscribe to Bears now because it is 100% free. We have a family-like environment here. We welcome all Bears fans. Shout out to the real ones. Let's get to 125,000 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer to training camp. William Bomer, I still think Von Miller has one more good year in him. I think as a rotation speed rusher, he can still be effective. He had 6 sacks last year and limited snaps with the Bills. If you're asking him to consistently stop the run and to play a heavy load of snaps, probably a bad move, but he overlapped with Dennis Allen. I think they drafted him when he was in Denver for a year back in 2011, so there's some familiarity there. He's not built like a typical DA defensive end. He's 6'3", 245, 250. Dennis Allen typically likes those like 6'5", 6'6" behemoths like Dio Adengbo, so who knows? If it's a couple $1 million, I'd be on board. There's other defensive ends I like better that are available, but if you told me they ended up with Von Miller, I wouldn't say no. Dennis, do you think the Hendrickson situation can linger to the trade deadline and give teams like the Bears more leverage, giving up less trade assets to acquire him? I mean, it's possible, certainly. He seems pretty steadfast in not playing on the current deal. I think that would be a mistake by Cincinnati. If you can't get a deal done before week 1, I think you trade him. Because I think we saw last year with a lesser player, but a good player in Hassan Reddick, that if you wait until the season and he still doesn't show up, you're just not going to get the value. And we saw that be the case. So the Jets just had to kind of work something out, and he didn't play well. So, I think there's a resolution one way or the other. I'll say by week 2, because could it be a Chris Jones situation from a couple years ago where he skips the opener and then the Chiefs are like, oh, we really need this guy, and they just pay him? Maybe he skips the opener and the defense gets shredded and the Bengals bend the knee and he shows up week 2. That could happen, but I'd be shocked if it's like, oh, he hasn't played and it's week 6 and then they try to trade him. That's poorly handling that situation for the Bengals because the value just goes down. It's like, I don't know how he's going to show up if it's middle of the season. Okay, FGB t-shirts are available at chatsports.com/FGB. If you hate the Packers, get yourself an FGB t-shirt today. Link is right there, chatsports.com/FGB. Check the comments and description to click and shop today. All right, we got Edward or Eduardo, and then we'll get to this super chat here. Where or would you trade Roschon Johnson in a 6th for Najee Harris? Can it be one or the other? Because to me, like if you're the Chargers and you're trading Najee, like what's your leverage? You just signed him. Like I think you'd be looking at like a pick swap. I would do like a 1-for-1. I'd trade Roschon for Najee. I think Najee's a clear upgrade. Maybe Roschon in a pick swap, like here's Roschon in a 6th, give me a 7th back or something like that. I think I could sign up for that. This wouldn't be a ton to lose, but I just think if the Chargers are willing to trade Najee Harris for an offer like that, they're basically telling you he doesn't factor into their plans. Appreciate the super chat from Hypergenesis. Do you think Kevin Byard gets an extension if he has a good year, or Brisker if he has an average year? Well, define average. Like, to me with Brisker, unless his play declines, I don't think his play will decline. I think he'll be good. It's all about health. Like, if he plays 14, 15 games or more, I'd give him for sure a 1-year deal, maybe a 2 with an opt-out after the first where it's, he gets, $2 million extra guaranteed for the second year, just kind of throw him a bone. I don't know if Brisker could do anything where you'd give him a 3+ year deal. That concussion thing is a concern. Byard, I think he said it recently. He's like, I'm year to year at this point. If he has a good year, bring him back on a one-year deal. I don't think he's a guy signing more than one-year deals at this point. But if he plays like he did last year, again, let's just say he has the exact same year, which is what I would call above-average safety play. 1 year, $5 million for 2026. Cool. Like that's great for everybody involved. That's a win for him. He doesn't have to move. It's a win for the Bears. Solid starter. Brisker's all about health. That's really all it is. Follow me on Twitter. It's at HGramNFL. Same on Instagram. If we didn't get your question answered, we can get them answered over on social media at HGramNFL. Appreciate you guys for loading up the questions, and we'll continue to get those answered over on social media.